The Meta Pixel is still transmitting your medical searches right now, and the FTC can't stop it. Congress summoned the executives. Investigations opened. Hospitals received formal removal orders. The Pixel kept running. What you're about to see is an audit trail, the telemetry handshake, the persistent identifier, and the legal loophole that made all of it permanent. And it's still running. The Meta Pixel was sold as a marketing tool. Simple, harmless. You embed a small piece of JavaScript on your website. It reports back to Meta's servers who visited, what they clicked, how long they stayed. Advertisers use that signal to retarget you on Instagram, on Facebook, across every Meta surface. The official version sounds almost reasonable, a business tool helping companies find their customers. That's what Meta published documentation for. That's what thousands of hospital systems, pharmacy chains, and mental health platforms agreed to when they copied the embed code into their pages. By 2022, the Pixel was running on over 1 million websites. Invisible, automatic, and almost nobody read the fine print on what it was actually sending back. Here is what it was actually sending. When you searched for a therapist on a hospital website, the Pixel logged the search term. When you booked a cancer screening appointment, it captured the appointment type, the date, and the provider name. When you visited a substance abuse clinic's online intake form, it transmitted the full-page URL, which contained the clinic name, the condition, and in some cases your email address, directly to Meta's servers in a standard GET request, not encrypted separately, not anonymized. A raw telemetry handshake carrying your health data from a HIPAA-protected system straight into Meta's advertising infrastructure. The markup investigated this in 2022. They found the Pixel running on the websites of 33 of the top 100 hospitals in the United States. The data wasn't being sold. It was being used to build your advertising profile. The distinction between those two things is the loophole, and it's still running. The FTC noticed. So did Congress. In 2022, a bipartisan group of senators sent a formal demand letter to Meta asking for answers. In 2023, the FTC announced it was seeking to ban Meta from monetizing data collected from minors and tight restrictions on health data. Hospitals began removing the Pixel. The Department of Health and Human Services issued updated guidance stating that tracking technologies on patient-facing websites likely violated HIPAA. The word likely is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Because HHS guidance isn't law, it's a recommendation. The FTC's proposed restrictions were challenged in federal court, tied up in procedural review, and delayed indefinitely. Meta paid a $5 billion fine in 2019 for earlier privacy violations. They paid it. Nothing stopped. The Pixel kept running. Here is the mechanism that makes it unstoppable. The Pixel doesn't require your consent because it operates under a legal framework built before behavioral tracking existed at scale. The United States has no federal comprehensive privacy law. HIPAA covers healthcare providers, not the platforms receiving the data. The moment that telemetry leaves the hospital's server and lands on Meta's infrastructure, it is legally Meta's business intelligence, not your protected health information. That distinction is not an accident. Meta's legal team has documented this position in regulatory filings. But here's the part nobody reported at the time. The regulator already knew. HHS had received prior briefings on Pixel-based tracking before the markup investigation went public. They issued guidance instead of enforcement, because enforcement requires proof of intent, and the Pixel doesn't log intent, it just logs behavior. Beyond the legal structure, the technical architecture makes removal nearly impossible. The Pixel fires through a browser-side script. Even when a hospital removes it from their official code, cached versions persist in content delivery networks, in third-party plugins, in embedded widgets from vendors who never received the removal order. And your persistent identifier, the FBP cookie, survives across sessions, across devices linked to your account, across every site that ever ran the Pixel while you were logged into Facebook. The FTC cannot subpoena a cookie. It cannot issue a cease and desist to a cached JavaScript file, and it's still running. What this means for your data right now, if you have ever visited a hospital website, a pharmacy portal, a mental health platform, or a telehealth service while logged into any Meta product, your session was likely captured. The Pixel generated a persistent identifier tied to your Facebook account. That identifier was matched against your demographic profile, your location history, your relationship status, every data point Meta holds. It built an inferred health profile. Meta calls this a custom audience. Advertisers can target it without ever knowing your name. Your doctor cannot share your diagnosis without your written consent. Meta already has the inference. Right now, your data is sitting inside an advertising segment you cannot see, cannot request, and cannot delete because it was never officially collected. It was observed. And observation under current law is not collection. So here is the question nobody has answered. The FTC knows. HHS knows. Congress knows. Multiple federal investigations confirmed the mechanism. Meta has been fined and summoned more than any tech company in history, and the pixel is still running on hospital websites today. Either the institutions built to protect your health data genuinely cannot stop a piece of JavaScript, or they decided not to. The only entity that benefits from that decision is the one that built the pixel. Ask yourself who in Washington has a retirement plan that includes a seat on Meta's board.